Welcome to the deep dive. Look, if you've ever felt just completely buried under all the advice about getting rich, or maybe wondered why some things seem to click for others, but, well, not for you, then this deep dive is definitely for you. Our goal today really is to cut through all that noise. We want to separate the solid facts from the popular myths and maybe uncover what's often missing from those typical self-help books about wealth.
Exactly. And the material we've pulled together today, it's not just abstract theory. It's really meant to be a practical guide. It aims to leave you with absolutely no doubt about what you need to do, and crucially, how to do it. Unlike a lot of sources that give you vague ideas, this stuff is meant to give you a clear, actionable path.
Okay, so let's start with a big one, this widespread idea. A lot of people think if they just, dream really hard about that fancy car or see a big bank balance in their mind, it'll just kind of appear.
Yeah, the whole visualize it down to the last detail thing, smelling the leather, right?
Right.
Or picturing the exact dollars.
Right, and then they just wait for it to manifest, which, let's be honest, usually leads to disappointment, doesn't it? But our source material, it gives us a much more practical take on this.
It absolutely does. And what's really insightful is the source clarifies, look, wanting the symbols, the car, the money, that's not wrong. We all have desires, but the focus, it's fundamentally misplaced. Money isn't going to just, roll down the street and find you because you pictured it.
So how does it work then, according to this?
Well, wealth basically is acquired through established financial channels. It comes from the exchange of goods or services. Simple as that, really. And it echoes that profound statement from Wallace D. Wattles. You must provide more in use value than you receive in cash value.
Yeah.
In every single transaction.
More use value than cash value.
Yeah. It's not just about being nice. It's a core principle for actually building wealth.
And what happens when you consistently do that? When you give more value?
Well, it creates this powerful feedback loop. It naturally leads to repeat clients. People start talking about you, word-of-mouth referrals. You're basically putting the law of cause and effect to work for you. You cause good effects by giving great value. And it taps into the law of abundance, too. Success starts breeding more success. It gets easier.
Okay, so if wealth comes from this value exchange, does the source point towards a specific way to do that? I mean, what does this really mean for someone who wants to seriously scale up their income?
Yeah, it means typically you need to be in business for yourself. The source is pretty blunt here. Unless you're maybe, a top athlete or a huge entertainer, it's really, really unlikely you're going to get truly wealthy working for somebody else.
Why is that?
Well, you'll generally just earn the market rate for your job, right? There's a ceiling there. Yeah. The real chance to, write your own paycheck, to really grow your income in a big way, that comes from having your own scalable business.
Right. Okay. Now, this next bit from the source is, well, it challenges how a lot of people think. It dives into the science around the law of attraction, or maybe the misinterpretation of science. You hear quantum thrown around a lot, and people start thinking it's magic, like thoughts directly change reality.
And that idea, thought affecting things, it's ancient. You see hints in old religious texts, Buddha, Greek philosophers. Then you get those early 20th century New Thought writers, James Allen, Wattles again, Napoleon Hill, Charles Haanel.
And more recently, things like The Secret, bringing it to the masses. But the source makes a really critical distinction here, doesn't it?
It does. It says, look, science does describe a weird reality at the quantum level. Like, the Copenhagen interpretation observing subatomic particles can influence them. But, and this is the key part, these complex quantum effects do not provide scientific proof that you can manifest a car or $1 million just by thinking about it.
So that link is basically a myth.
It's a popular myth, yeah. One that really needs unpacking. The source points out three common sort of non-scientific ways people explain how the law of attraction supposedly works. First, there's the religious view. God grants requests like ask and you shall receive. Second, the new thought idea. Some kind of intelligent universe or thinking stuff grants wishes. And third, that quantum explanation we mentioned, and where thinking directly hits reality that often appeals to atheists or agnostics.
Interesting. So they all kind of share that core belief. Thought directly changes things. But the author says these explanations are flawed.
Exactly. The conclusion drawn is that they're often deficient or incomplete. I mean, think about it. Loads of people try these methods and still don't get what they want. And then if something bad happens, the blame often gets turned back on them, right? Oh, you had negative vibrations or you weren't grateful enough, instead of questioning the whole premise.
Okay, so the guide then makes this really important distinction. It's fundamental, actually, between a law something you absolutely cannot break, and a principle, something you choose to live by. It sounds like just words, but it's crucial, isn't it?
Absolutely vital. A natural law, like gravity. It just is. You can't disobey it. It works whether you believe in it or not. But a principle, like, say, honesty. You can choose to be dishonest,
Right.
but there will be consequences, right? You'll face the fallout.
Got it. So how does this apply to success?
Well, the source identifies specific metaphysical laws of success that it argues are true natural laws. They're always operating. You can't switch them off. First, the law of cause and effect. Success is an effect. It needs a sufficient cause. So if you want success, you consciously model the causes that successful people use.
Okay, cause and effect. What else?
Then there's the law of attraction. Now, this isn't about attracting things directly, but attracting people and opportunities based on who you are. Like attracts like. Your character, your internal state, it acts like a magnet.
Makes sense.
Third is the law of karma, or sowing and reaping. Basically, you reap what you sow. Every decision has consequences.
Yeah.
You plant daffodil bulbs, you're not going to get tulips. Right, same idea.
Right. Simple but profound.
And finally, the law of abundance, or increasing returns. Success breeds success. Results start to compound. It might start small, but it builds momentum and can accelerate dramatically. So real success comes from living in harmony with these fundamental laws. You work with them, not against them.
Okay, this is where it gets really exciting for me. Because the source argues that your own mind is your most powerful tool in all of this. The idea is when you really concentrate your conscious mind on a clear goal, you kickstart these powerful processes in your subconscious.
Yeah, it's less about some external magic force and more about unlocking your own internal, cognitive power. The Force uses some great anecdotes to illustrate this, things we've all experienced, like you try and remember, I don't know, an actor's name, and it just won't come.
Oh, yeah, I hate that.
Right. Then days later, boom, it just pops into your head when you're not even thinking about it. Or the author's own story, struggling all day with a tricky computer problem, getting nowhere consciously. Then on the drive home, not even thinking about work, the solution just appears out of the blue.
And that other example, the car one.
Oh, yeah, the Chrysler Neon effect.
Yeah.
You buy a specific type of car, maybe one you didn't notice much before, and suddenly you see them everywhere.
Totally. I had that when I bought my first electric car. Suddenly they were all over the place.
Exactly. They were always there, but your mind wasn't tuned to see them. So the conclusion from all this is profound. Consistently holding a clear mental picture of where you want to go. It literally programs your subconscious mind.
Programs it how?
Well, it becomes like this active engine, constantly working behind the scenes. It starts generating ideas, solving problems you're stuck on, spotting opportunities you'd otherwise miss. It helps you acquire contacts, identify resources, things relevant to that specific goal. It's connecting dots you aren't consciously seeing.
Wow. Okay. But there's a catch, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's crucial. You must take action on these insights when they pop up. You can't just sit back and wait for the universe to deliver. The ideas are useless if you don't act on them. The source uses a brilliant analogy. Your subconscious is like headlights on a car at night.
Okay.
It only lights up the next 100 feet or so. You can't see the whole journey at once. You have to take that next step into the light to see what comes after. You drive the first 100 feet, then the next 100 become visible. I like that. Take the next step. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means working on yourself, especially your personality, is just as vital as setting those big goals. Think about that job interview example the source uses.
Yeah, the confident candidate naturally attracts the offer, while the nervous one might actually push it away, even with the same qualifications. Personality matters.
And the source mentions the Enneagram briefly, too. Right. Just as one tool for self-understanding. It describes 9 personality types, each with positives and negatives. The point isn't about judging types, but about understanding your own patterns, managing the negatives, amplifying the positives.
So this raises a big question. If you believe you're not confident or not naturally optimistic or whatever, how do you actually change that? It feels hard.
It does feel hard, but the source offers a powerful, almost deceptively simple technique, affirmations. But it's not just wishful thinking. It's about fundamentally changing your belief system about yourself.
How does that work?
You identify key attributes for success, like self-confidence, being positive, optimistic, amiable, goal-focused, committed to excellence, self-motivated. Then instead of wishing you were, say, self-confident, you create strong I am statements. I am self-confident. I am positive. I am optimistic.
I am, not I want to be or I will be.
Exactly. I am. Present tense, as if it's already true. Then you repeat these statements aloud is good, but silently works too, 3 times each, 3 times a day, consistently.
And that repetition, that's the key.
That and the I am phrasing. It works, the source says. By steadily reprogramming your subconscious belief system, you're basically embedding a new self-image. And when your belief changes, your behavior starts to change naturally, authentically, to match it. It even suggests emergency tactics, like before a stressful meeting or presentation.
Yeah.
Silently repeat things like, I am calm, I am confident, I am in control, right beforehand. It can genuinely shift your mental and emotional state. It's surprisingly effective.
Okay, let's get really practical now. This isn't just fuzzy thinking. There's a structured process involved. Our source gives a step-by-step guide for actually clarifying what you desire. How does that start?
It starts broad, with what's called a wild idea list. You just brainstorm, write down everything you might ever want to be or go or do. No limits at this stage.
Fun. Okay, then what?
Then, for every single item on that big list, you ask why.
Why do I want that?
Exactly. And you keep asking why. Maybe 5 or 6 times for each item. This drills down past the surface desire to uncover the deeper longing, the real emotional driver underneath.
Ah, finding the real motivation.
Precisely. Once you've done that, you start identifying what's truly important to you from that deeper understanding. You distill those core desires into a concise personal mission statement. Then you refine everything down to maybe 3 or 4 of your most important, morally sound goals.
And once you have those core goals,
Write them down. Maybe draw pictures that represent them, make them tangible, and then crucially review them regularly. Keep them top of mind.
and doing this consistently, this actually leads to those ideas and opportunities we talked about.
Yes, the source strongly reinforces this. This regular programming of your subconscious will spark ideas, solutions, opportunities, connections, resources. And you knew this was coming. Consistent action is always, always required. You got to implement those ideas, follow up on those contacts, use those resources when they show up. Otherwise, they just stay as potential.
Right, action is key. Okay, shifting gears slightly to money itself. The source makes this really fascinating distinction that I think most people miss between money and currency. We tend to think dollars or euros are money, but the source says no, they're currency. What's the big difference, and why does it matter for our bank balance?
It's a huge difference, actually. Currency, dollars, euros, pounds, whatever, it's basically just an agreement. It has value, because we all agree it does, but it has no real intrinsic worth. And because of that, it's vulnerable to inflation, devaluation. Its purchasing power goes down over time.
So just leaving cash in the bank is losing value.
Over time, yes, almost inevitably. True money, according to this view, is something like gold, maybe certain commodities, things with actual inherent value. They act as a reliable store of value. So the advice is, don't just hoard currency. Convert it into assets that are likely to rise in value, or at least hold their value against inflation.
Okay, that's a big shift in thinking right there. Beyond that, what are the core principles for managing the currency we do have?
There are 3 other really key principles here. First, and it sounds basic, but it's vital, spend less than you earn. Seriously, the source emphasizes this isn't just for people struggling. Even high earners can fail here. You have to create a surplus. Get out of debt that's top priority. Needs before wants. Minimize outgoings. Direct that surplus first to killing debt, then building an emergency fund. If you can't afford it outright, don't buy it. It sounds simple, but mastering this is fundamental.
Makes sense. Control the outflow. What's second?
Second, purchase investments, not liabilities. And this is a mindset shift. Every time you spend, ask, is this an asset likely to grow in value or generate income? Or is it a liability that will likely decrease in value and maybe even cost money to maintain? Think property, land, wisely chosen stocks, maybe collectibles, precious metals, fine wine, art, things likely to appreciate.
Versus liabilities like
Most cars, everyday furniture, things that generally go down in value pretty quickly. The source argues this focus on acquiring appreciating assets versus depreciating liabilities is a key habit separating the rich from the poor. But of course, always do your homework, your due diligence before any investment. That's critical.
Definitely. Okay, and the third principle for really boosting earnings.
The third is to continually increase your earning capacity. Look, there's only so much one person can do alone, right? You have limited hours, limited energy. To really scale up, you need leverage. That usually means working with others, maybe employing people or outsourcing tasks where someone else can do it more cost effectively than you spending your own valuable time on it.
So leverage through people or services.
Exactly. And interestingly, the source also stresses something that seems counterintuitive. The importance of rest and relaxation. It's not counterproductive. It's crucial for clear thinking, for creativity, for letting that subconscious mind do its work. Trying to just grind 24/7 actually hinders your progress in the long run.
That's a relief to hear, actually. So putting it all together, it's about shifting from being just a consumer to being an investor, understanding how to grow wealth, not just collect currency. And the source brings up outcome goals versus performance goals again.
Yes, it reiterates that need for both. Your outcome goal might be, say, a six-figure income. But your performance goals are the specific actions you need to take to get there, like how many books do you need to write and sell? How many clients do you need to successfully serve? It uses that analogy. Want tulips, plant tulip bulbs. Want the top job, get the qualifications, want to get rich, build a scalable business based on value.
And those 4 questions to keep asking ourselves.
Right, those guiding questions to constantly reprogram the subconscious. Where am I now? Where do I want to be? How do I get there? And how do I know I have arrived? Keep asking them, and your subconscious will keep feeding you the next steps.
Okay, bringing this towards the end. Our source challenges us to think even bigger, beyond just getting rich for ourselves. What's the ultimate purpose of wealth? It brings up the idea of legacy, right? Citing Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah, that striking quote, a person who dies rich dies disgraced. Strong words.
Very strong.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, it suggests that real mastery isn't just about making wealth, but understanding its potential impact. Thinking about broader societal contribution, you see modern figures like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, really pushing philanthropy, giving significant wealth away. It really raises a vital question for you, the listener. What impact do you want your life and the resources you gather to have beyond just yourself?
So it's not just about accumulation.
No. The source actually encourages you to consider, maybe in consultation with your family, donating a portion of your wealth, maybe even just a percentage of your estate, to causes or people you believe in, to see it not as a loss, but as a joyous commitment to making the world, a little bit better.
Wow. What a deep dive this has been. We've really covered a lot. We've seen getting rich isn't magic wishing, but understanding these natural laws, cause and effect, attraction of people opportunity, karma, abundance. It's about harnessing that incredible power of your own subconscious mind, cultivating your personality through things like affirmations, applying those practical money principles, spending less, investing in assets, increasing capacity, and crucially, taking consistent action, always rooted in providing real value.
And honestly, the best part is this. The source is really clear that you now have all the information you need. The next step isn't finding more information, reading another book, listening to another deep dive. The only thing missing now for your success is consistent application of what you've learned today. This is the complete picture of the laws and principles.
So you have your treasure map. It's clearly marked specifically for your unique treasure. The only remaining ingredient is your willingness to pick up the shovel and start digging. Are you ready to begin?